Make it louder! Come get you some of that!
Just got done putting on these wilwood brakes up front and they were working good. Problem we're having now is the back brakes. You can stick the clutch in and it's just like, and the car just stops on its own without touching the brakes. So the back brakes are starting to lock up, and yes, they are turning like a bluish purple, which we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. What am I talking about? Well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start at the front portion and we're gonna move our way towards the back. This is immediate. There is, I have to push hard to get it to drop in. That right there, that's a red flag. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust the push rod. Okay, now you see that lever? I have to take that cotter pin out, drop it, and then you can see where it's threaded. Well, I have to adjust that in a little bit. Yeah, you can see how black. These are chrome plated freaking, Kraggers. I mean, look at that. So you got tons of brake dust in here. And I mean, you can kind of see the witness marks. Yeah, on the rotors that they're getting hot. So I am going to adjust that rod. I'm just going to shrink it up a little bit because there is no play. Like I said, we want to be able to just have a little bit of play in that foot, because once pressure starts to warm up and heat up and all of that, well, it's only got one way out. It's not going to like push the pedal back against you. No, it's not going to do that. What's going to happen is it's going to then make the caliper go against your brakes, against the rotors. We don't want that to happen. So with this being the way it is and there's absolutely no adjustment in it at all, I'm going to adjust this. We're going to take the thing out. We're going to take it for probably a good 10 minutes. And I'm going to go through and hit the brakes. I'm going to get everything warmed up, and I want to see if this happens. If this fixes it, great. It's a super quick fix. There's 3 things that I would look at. I'm going to show you the other ones that it maybe could be, but this is number 1. We're going to nail this one down. The distribution block in the back that goes to the passenger side, the driver's side. We're going to look at that. And then on top of it, like I said, if the caliper's not shimmed right. Now you got to have the tire off this thing to be able to pretty much sight down it and see that the caliper's centered to the rotor. That should make enough sense. So I'm gonna have to pull the wheel off if we get to this point. The distribution, that's brand new. So whoever it was ended up putting on a brand new one. I don't see any kinks in it, and I don't see any portions of where you would see it like collapsed. I don't see any of that. But now you can understand why those other 2 things can cause this problem. If we have a collapse in the line when it starts to heat up or anything like that, well then you're not going to get brake fluid, and when it collapses, the heat from the fluid itself heating up, getting hot because the rotors are getting hot, which is making the calipers get hot, which makes the fluid get hot, so on and so forth. Well, it's going to want to kind of go back. Well, if there's a dam in the way, then it's just going to go the opposite direction, which then is going to take those calipers and go and tighten them up, and we'd have that problem. So those are the 2 other things that it could be, but number 1 is that brake pedal. See how I can just... Now you get the idea. That's hardly any play. And now it activates. Now it pushes the brakes. I'm not going to say it fixed it. Let's go take it for a drive.
So I want to make sure I get plenty of heat inside these rotors, because the main problem was not within the first 5 minutes. It would stop decent and it wouldn't have a problem. But man, as soon as the rotors would get hot, you'd stick the clutch in and you just feel the car kind of roar and come to a stop. So I decided to take about a nice 10-15 minute drive. Why not go get some lunch, right? And then at that point, park the thing, let it really heat soak, and then proceed to drive it again. This is the best way to get as much heat into those brakes as possible.
So I ended up picking up some Chick-fil-A. So it was a good little bit of a drive. Came out here, got this, let the car sit. So obviously the brakes are nice and hot. And so far, that's clutch in and she's rolling all right. Now, I gotta say this, the brakes themselves go down a little bit farther before they grab, because they were already pressing, they were already working. Check this out as well. There's the brakes, and as you can see, there's my reflection. They're not purple. I wish I had the before shot that you guys could see where they were purple. I mean, they were a bluish purple. So I think this is what's solving it. But the brakes right now, they're not fantastic. They go about halfway down, and then you got to stand on them a little bit. Well, obviously before, they were about an eighth of the way already getting used before you even put your foot down on the pedal. So there's that feeling of like, man, these brakes are fantastic. Yeah, because you're already pushing the freaking brakes now. When I was coming back, I got on the brakes kind of hard. I kind of got into them, and then I like really stood on them. There's definitely a feeling that they wouldn't lock up. And at that point, I'm going, that's not right. Like I said before, I believe I said it in this episode, where if this proportioning valve came with this kit and originally it was set up for a disc brake front, drum rear, is not going to be the same as the same pressure that you would have for a disc brake kit. So I got an adjustable proportioning valve that I can throw on this thing to where I can completely eliminate that proportioning valve, or at least the rear section, and I can adjust in how the disc brakes are going to activate. And at that point, once I do that and I get it adjusted where it needs to be, then literally that is as good as these brakes will ever freaking be. So going from a 1 1/8 down to that 15/16, doing a adjustable proportioning valve, all this stuff, guys, everything's right. Everything's right here. But I thought of this. You have the push rod that's underneath the pedal, but you also have an adjuster here. So I want to see where this is to the mounting surface of this compared to the mounting surface of this, where the piston is inside this hole. If that has to travel a lot farther than what I think to where I'm feeling a little bit of play down below, well, that's the push rod going to the booster. Well, then the booster's got another push rod that goes to the master cylinder. If there's a ton of play in there, well, then you're not getting a full pedal. So that's what I'm going to look at next. And I'm going through my math right now. And I've already gone through, mic'd things out. And from the mounting surface to the end, what do we got? 731, 427. This will make sense. So from this mounting surface to the edge right here is 731. This piston that's inside here, where this would fit inside a pocket, inside that pocket to this edge is 427. So the distance between the two that this is actually sitting in from this distance, this mounting pad, is 304. That this has to actually be sunken in 304 from the mating surface of this. So if I want to give myself like an extra 10 thousandths, then we'd go to like 295. So there'd be a little bit of slop in this. So I want to see where this actually is sitting right now. Now that's what we have. I ended up covering this in clear so she ain't going to rust. You can see how I ended up still keeping the original proportioning valve, but now we have this adjustable one on the back. Before I bleed the brakes, open this sucker all the way up as far as it goes, because that's going to help bleed the rears. But at that point, there we go. It's a 15/16. It's got an extra little piece inside here for the push rod that's inside the booster to make contact with that. So back underneath the car, Schuler showed up and he's giving me a little helping hand on this thing, and I am thankful for it so I don't have to do the gymnastics back bend here. But where the push rod was on the brake lever arm, where I was telling you guys before that it was way down here, we're going back up to the original position. But this frickin' thing, this is what we're trying to get. He actually got this thing out. I was fighting with this and I couldn't get it out. Right now, we're at about 2.5 to 1. That is garbage. Hoping that this is going to put us more at, I believe, like 4 to 1 or 5 to 1, which is more about where we want to be. It's much better than what it is. We're going to stick it back up there. I've already checked everything on the booster side and all that. We're within like 15 thousandths, which is good. So it's got a little slop in there, which is fine. I think it's just mechanical leverage is what's going on. So, as you can see, Nick is trying to work his magic underneath there, and believe me, doing this freaking bridge back bend crap. Yeah, I was there for a couple of hours just getting the other push rod set up into this. Holy crap. This sucks. This absolutely sucks. Yeah, it's a little tight. So for you guys out there that wonder, hey man, why does it cost so much? Or why is it, why was it this many hours? Well, now you freaking know. And we're still not done.
So with fingers crossed, I'm hoping this is the last time I gotta drive this thing for the brakes, man. Keep in mind, the rear proportioning valve is wide open, so the first time trying the brakes out here, back brakes are locking up. So it was like, okay, decreased it. Took me about 4 or 5 times. It started to improve the brakes. It felt better in the pedal, but I was also getting more movement in the pedal, which was a bonus. So now, after getting everything done, the only other thing I would say that could maybe be a problem is that it has a small 8-inch aftermarket brake booster, not like a factory like 11-inch. So I'm going to give it to the customer. I think they're okay, but I want him to drive it, see if he likes it. If we have to do some adjustments, we can do some adjustments. But they feel so much better. We'll see what he has to say.
All right, so my boy Dan just came down, picked up the Chevelle, super happy with it. Brakes are working great. Couldn't ask for anything more. So now we have a couple more things coming down the pipeline, like the Mustang, like that beautiful 78 Bronco that you see over there. That is an original paint and original interior Bronco over there. We'll get into that a little bit later. And I have not forgot about the 2013 416 Stroker Silverado. We still got that going on. Guys, you're going to dig this one, and we're going to have it up on the dyno, seeing what she'll lay down, and then we're going to go out and we're going to raise some hell with that thing. But you got to hit that subscribe button to be able to find out when we're going out, when we're doing that. So the next thing up is going to be the 70 Mustang. What do we got in store? Just got to wait and see, my friends. Got to wait and see. So until I see you in the next video, take care, my friends. See ya. Woo!